Welcome guys, today we are playing a brand new game that I've not played yet, but I suspect it may become a bit of an addiction. Yep, it's Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is still in early access, but it looks like it has a lot of content already. So should we get started? And of course, the first thing we have to do is make a character. I wasn't really expecting this, but I guess it kind of makes sense, and it is really sim-like in how it works. So I ended up spending way too long on this. But I eventually managed to come up with something that kind of represented me a little. We can work on things like the clothing later. So finally, we can actually start the game.
Our story begins with an ending, as you decide it's time to leave the city behind. Yearning for a pause from life's responsibilities, you arrive at a familiar place. A quick stroll along a nearby path leads you to a spot where, as a child, you found that life was simpler, and with a touch of imagination, all your dreams would come true. Finding the perfect place for a rest, you begin remembering these long-lost dreams and drift off to sleep.
It was at this point I realised that this was gonna be a slow game. It was gonna have a lot of story and a lot of conversation. So while Merlin considered what was going on, I went to go get snacks and settled in for story time. And then I landed in World before I'd managed to eat my snacks, and Merlin talked to me. I was right about just how slow this game was going to be, because this conversation took a really long time. So I'll summarise it for you so you don't have to watch it all. So, Merlin is an interesting choice of first character, and this immediately told me who this game was targeted at, and it is not for kids. It's for people my age. Way to make me feel old, Disney. But anyway, Merlin seems to have lost his memory, and it's something to do with the bramble things that are everywhere. These are called night thorns, by the way. Anyway, these thorns are a symptom of something called the forgetting, which has caused havoc in Dreamlight Valley and has caused Disney characters to disappear. At this point, I was starting to wonder if Disney themselves were having an existential crisis, and this game was a symptom of that. But back to the story, Merlin had prophesied a chosen one would come to save the valley, and that chosen one was me. But there was, of course, a catch. I had to test my magical powers by getting rid of the night thorns around this house, which I did admirably, by the way. And Merlin seemed to get really excited by this and did this kind of weird jig dance thing. So after Merlin had finished dancing, we went inside, and Merlin had then completely forgotten everything again. But I fixed that by getting rid of all of these night thorns. And then he did start to remember. And a very long story cut short is that he detected my magical abilities, and he thought I was potentially the chosen one, and he gave me this house rent-free. Well, kinda. I had to agree to help him fix the valley, which is probably a lot of work. Maybe paying rent would have been cheaper. Finally, the conversation was at an end, and Merlin had given me some quests. I had to find these magic tools that were called royal tools, and these used to belong to an old ruler who had abandoned the valley. So I got on with my quest and headed outside to do that. I soon realised I had a lot of work. There were night thorns everywhere, but clearing them gave me money, so I guess it's worth it. It was time to explore, and I went clearing things as I went, determined to not get distracted and find these royal tools that Merlin had told me I needed. Except Scrooge McDuck had other ideas. And his appearance in the game only seemed to hammer home the target market for this group was not kids. So I talked to him for a bit, and he gave me quests too. It seemed like I was going to be the only one doing any work around here. But I was determined to stay on track. Royal tools. I needed to find the royal tools, and then I started to find them. Well, I found one of them at least. I was able to pull this pickaxe from a stone that it was stuck in. And that had a huge effect. Apparently this axe being stuck in the ground had caused the weather to be all dark and moody. So So hey, at least I'd fix the weather for now. And I could break rocks. So I did. I broke lots of rocks. And then I found my second royal tool, a watering can, which was actually right outside my own house. I was doing well, and all I needed was to find a shovel and a fishing rod, and then I was all set. Except first, clothing. I did not like this shirt and jeans combo. It's just not something I'd ever wear. So I went home and I fixed my outfit first. So much better. So where were we? Shovel and fishing rod. No more distractions. And it worked. I found a fishing rod, but apparently this wasn't the right fishing rod, which was kind of obvious because I got no sparkly cutscene. I didn't really know what to do about this, but I found a house and I wanted in there, and it turned out that that house was Goofy's house, and that was precisely where I needed to be, because a quick conversation with Goofy and he exchanged a royal tool for the broken one I'd found. It didn't seem like a fair trade to me, but who am I to question it? And I had my royal tool. Just a shovel to go. So, I found the shovel, Goofy taught me how to fish, and my quest was complete. It was time to head back to Merlin, who explained more about the job I'd agreed to. I apparently had to collect Dreamlight, which is something filled with Disney magic, which would enable me to bring back all my favourite Disney characters. So it seemed like I was ready to go about my life. And go about my life I did. I did quests, I opened shops, I made Scrooge McDuck and Goofy happy with me, I even met Mickey along the way. And I collected loads of money and resources. Suddenly I realised 2 hours had gone by and I'd done nothing. That's why these games are so dangerous for me. So I figured it was actually time to do what Merlin had wanted me to do and go and check out the castle with him. I unblocked the night thorns from the entrance and we went inside.
Thank you.
And then Merlin explained that behind all of these different doors was a realm for each Disney character. And if I worked hard enough, I'd be able to get all of these different characters in my village. But right now, I could only choose between 3. I could choose Wally, Moana, or Remy from Ratatouille. It wasn't an easy choice, and my instinct was actually to go for Wally because that's one of my favourite Disney movies and he's such a cool character. But I actually looked at the game strategy and thought, well, recipes and cooking is actually quite a big part of this game, and Remy felt like my best option to food and ingredients, so I chose Remy the rat. But that is an adventure for another day in another video. If you want to see that adventure, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. On the channel we also play other games such as Minecraft and sometimes scary games like Phasmo. I've been Twix True and you have been awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!